What's going on, guys? Today we're doing something a little bit different. Full disclosure, I was out all day. I ended up being really busy. I've been super busy the last few days. I thought I would have a lot more free time than I actually have had. And so, yeah, I've just been busy. As you can see, it's currently 6:43 p.m. on the day that I'm recording this, like for it to go up. So it's going to go up late. I apologize in advance. I guess it's not really in advance if that's when you're watching this. But anyway, I've been super busy, but I still wanted to have you guys, like, give you guys a video. So, basically, what I decided to do was, because it's so late already, and if I like render out like a full VGC battle spot video, it'll take hours. So hopefully this will take less time to render out, so I can have it up. But often I get requests for people asking me how I make my EV spreads and how, basically how to do it. And it's a really complex process, and I don't really know how to describe it. But I'm gonna go ahead and try today. By just taking a look at the team that won U.S. Nationals, used by Jeremy Rodriguez, and also Ashton Cox, Metagross, Lele, Driftblim, Landorus, Team, Amoonguss, and Rotom Heat. And I'm just going to try and make a bulky Metagross spread with this team in mind. The reason why I'm bringing up the whole team is because I think, when you're thinking about EV spreads, that you need to think about them in the context of your team. Like, for example, if you have Icy Wind or Tailwind, it kind of really affects whether or not you want it basically affects how you want to build your Pokemon. So yeah, we're going to be using Mega Metagross. We're going to be attempting to make a spread here, and we're just going to be going through some options just so I can kind of talk through what I want to do. So we probably don't need Showdown actually. So let's just go ahead and pull this up. So let's go ahead with Metagross blank set. With a Pokemon like Metagross, we can just already put it into Mega form. So when you're starting to build a Pokemon, when you're thinking about like what you want to EV for, one of the good places to start thinking is what nature you want. Generally, you want the nature that's going to give you the most stats. So in Metagross's case, it would be its defense. However, sometimes you need to be using natures that don't give you the most stats. For example, if you didn't want defense, you'd get the most points from adamant nature, giving you plus attack. However, oftentimes you need to run plus speed nature in order to outspeed things. So we already mentioned that we're not going to be using a bulky Metagross. Jeremy's team had Tailwind on Driftblim. It also had Redirection with Amoonguss, and I don't know if the Rotom had Electro Web. I don't think it did. I know it was Electrium Z, but I don't quote me on that, and I also don't know if the Landorus was Scarf or not, to be completely honest. That's might be Jeremy, and Ashley, if you're watching, I apologize. But regardless, we're mainly just using them on. So let's go ahead and assume it's Tailwind, Driftblim, and let's assume we don't have Electro Web with Rotom. So we already mentioned that we're not going to be using adamant. We're not going to be using max speed, max attack Metagross. So generally, I think the best place to start is your speed stat, because that it kind of, yeah, unless you need a Pokemon specifically to do an offensive job, I think starting with speed, at least as an anchor, and then going from there is a good start. So just looking at Pokemon, Metagross's max speed stat is 178. So you can outspeed Cortana if you want to go Jolly max speed, but we've already kind of ascertained that we don't want to do that. The next fastest thing that comes to mind at the top of my head is something like Nihilego, which is 170 stat. On Jeremy's team, because he has Redirection and Landorus and Driftblim for Tailwind, I don't think we need to outspeed Nihilego. It's also worth noting that the fastest speed to that Metagross can hit without an adamant nature, without a Jolly nature, is 162. So that's kind of like the first thing we should be figuring out is, do we want to go faster than 162? And we can actually go here and go to just open up a new window actually. So let's go ahead and pull up. Sorry, I don't want to have my teams loaded. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't want to have my teams loaded. Oh no, please don't freeze. Okay. So let's go ahead. We should go. So if you want to know kind of just like generally speeds, you can go here, select VGC 18, add Pokemon, and sort by speed. So the first thing we're going to do is go down to Metagross, who's right here, 110. So basically, you just want to see what are you comfortable not outspeeding. These are all speed ties, so you can ignore them for now. We don't need to worry that Ninetales is not super common. They also had Rain Dance on Driftblim, so that's fine. Infernape, Terrakion, Virizion, not really common enough to worth that speed. None of this is really relevant in my opinion. I'll stop you when we get to something relevant. Nihilego, hello. No, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thunderous Therian is a good Pokemon, but and Garchomp as well, but they're not common enough to be worth outspeeding in my opinion. Landorus also not common enough. Charizard, okay, so now we get into the base 100. So, because they had Rain Dance on their Driftblim, I don't think it's worth outspeeding Timid Charizard Y. I also don't even know if Timid Charizard Y is run. Kangaskhan, they have Driftblim, they don't need to really worry about that. There's a lot of base 100 Pokemon. Let's just see if we see anything else that's really worth outspeeding with Metagross. Hydreigon's not common, and they have Lele. Mimikyu, Gliscor, Arcanine, none of these are really worth outspeeding. We can just keep going, guys. We can do this all day. We're at base 95, so Tapu Lele is somewhere in here. 95. Wait, did we miss Tapu Lele? Isn't Lele? Yeah. Okay, so Lele is something that you might want to think about outspeeding. Let's go ahead and say no, though. Let's say we don't want outspeed Lele. I think we don't need to outspeed Lele because they have Lele, they have Drifblim. You can come back to Lele. I think Lele is a possible. I think at the very least we don't want to go below Adamant or Modest Lele. I think outspeeding that, so we want to have at least this much speed. I think, which is 148 stat. Because yeah, that's correct. Lele hits 100. Wait, no, that's wrong. How fast is type of Lele? Isn't it? Yeah, okay, I was right. 140. So let's see if we want to go any slower than Timid Lele. Landorus Therian I think is actually worth outspeeding because Metagross. Yeah, I think it's actually worth outspeeding Landorus. So we can just pull up here. Like, if you're not sure, you can always do this. 155 is its maximum speed stat. So that's only a couple points higher than we were already going to go. Wait, that's not right, is it? Ah, yeah, it is. Okay. So we can go all the way up to 156. So this is kind of like a faster, bulky Mega Metagross. But for example, so just when you're wondering about like stats, so if you put max attack in a Jolly Nature, you have 197 attack stat on Metagross. However, if you go Adamant, you're already at 181. And like what? 116? What did we say? 198? Was that correct? 197? Yeah, so 108 should do it. Okay, 116. So basically, that saves a ton of EVs. I hope this is making sense. I know I'm not super prepared for this video. I'm literally just winging it. So in terms of moves, I think Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, and Stomping Tantrum are a good combination. So we'll start with 116 EVs in attack, just kind of as a filler. But yeah, we don't need to start with anything in attack. We'll just come back to that. Let's just go ahead and see how much investment do we need to KO Landorus Teen's Psychic Terrain without a drop. So, because I think that's a reasonable thing to calc. Because we don't have Ice Punch, but Psychic boosted Zen Headbutt, Psychic Terrain boosted Zen Headbutt is pretty good. So, this is already a pretty good start. 81.3% chance to OHKO. It's not normally something that we're going to want to bank on because, yeah, because you don't know Landorus T often run in bulk. So, it's like that's not something that's super important, but I think it's worth considering. Let's pull up a Moongus here. Yeah, we KO max HP, max defense of Moongus. Charizard Y we will definitely KO and say. Oh, out of Psychic Terrain. Wow, that's pretty powerful. Let's pull up opposing Mega Metagross. So, at the moment, we're doing... Oh, we're plus... Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, we don't... Okay, sorry. I forgot to take that away because of the Intimidate. So, Charizard Y, we're actually doing... We KO in terrain. What was the other thing I calced? Don't remember. Let's go Metagross. So, as you can see here, Metagross' Stomping Tantrum does 56% on to opposing Mega Metagross and 55% to us, up to 65. Now, let's just go ahead and plug in max HP and see how much we're taking. So if we wanted to invest totally in HP, we could, and in defense. This is how much investment it would take to be 3-hit KO'd. I don't personally think that's worth it, to be honest, especially with Drifblim on this team and Rotom Heat. This is how much it takes to like realistically be 2-hit KO'd. Wait, why does that... Is that correct? I guess so. I think that's too much investment, honestly, in bulk. I think you want your Metagross to still be hitting stuff. So let's see if we can live a Shadow Ball from Gengar. So this is how much guaranteed OHKO. So the first thing, basically, when you're trying to survive attacks, the first thing you should do is like put 4 in the defenses and then put the rest in HP. So as you can see, by doing 180 HP and then 4 in each of the defenses, you can survive a Shadow Ball 87.5% of the time. Let's just, sorry, I should probably explain what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Okay, so basically when you're looking to KO things, you just kind of keep going up until you get to a number you're comfortable with, like that percentage of the time KOing. And when you're trying to survive things, normally what I do is I say, okay, let's add in the put 4 in each of the defenses and then add the rest in HP, and then you can start modifying. So for example, I'm going to raise the special defense by 1 point to see if that lowers the roll. Now it did lower the roll, but it didn't lower it enough to the point where the actual percentage went down. So let's do that again. So that's how much it needs to be. 6.3% chance to OHKO. So let's see if we can do this. You see how at the bottom it says, sorry, I should zoom in a little bit. 524 down here. So we're forcing EVs over. So I know I can see already that we can lower this one, and it's still a 6.3% chance to OHKO. But if we do that again, it's down to 12.5. So this is a time where I'm like, okay, I want to survive most of the time. So what if we lowered attack? What was the attack for again? We wanted to OHKO Landorus T most of the time. Let's see how that changes our roll. Psychic Terrain. Let's take away Intimidate just for clarity. We didn't do Psychic Terrain. It's a 75% chance to OHKO rather than a 81.3% chance to OHKO. However, we can confidently survive Gengar Shadow Ball. I personally think that's worth it, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna zoom out so I can see better. So thinking, yeah. So this is just kind of like how it's kind of like guess and check. You kind of like start seeing like, can I survive attacks? So like for example, let's just see, can we survive Z Pheromosa's Hydrant Kick? Yes. Can we survive Focus Blast from Timid Pheromosa? Can we survive like Focus Blast from Modest Pheromosa? We're probably not living this. We might live this. We don't live this. Okay, so we can't live Focus Blast from Modest Pheromosa. Can we live from Timid? We have Drifblim. Is that really important? Probably not. And if you're curious as to things like you can calc against, like why don't we see like Cortana is popular right now? Like how much are we taking from Smart Strike or Sacred Sword? 31%. That's not super bad. After Intimidate, that's basically nothing. We're doing 35% in return, but they started running bulky. So like, can we always break Substitute? Yes, we can. That's good to know. Zapdos. How much are we doing to Zapdos? Like Zen Headbutt. It's a 2-hit KO versus this Zapdos, which is pretty defensively bulky, so you can confidently KO most Zapdos. Just Psychic boosted Zen Headbutt. It actually always OHKOs 0 bulk Zapdos. That's not super common or popular, but it is something that you could face against, so that's good to know. Incineroar. How much are we doing to Incineroar? How much are we taking? Just like stuff like this. This is kind of what we're doing. So after Intimidate, we're not 2-hit KOing Incineroar, which is unfortunate. However, before Intimidate, we're going to be doing a lot. Yeah, we actually most of the time don't proc Berry, which in my opinion is pretty helpful. And Flare Blitz never KOs, which is not something that you can say versus most Metagross. So that's actually a really helpful calc. You can see it literally never KOs. You might even live a Fake Out after as well. Tapu Fini, how much we're doing to Tapu Fini and Psychic Terrain? Not that much. That's a good chunk, you know. You take it, for sure. Let's see how much Z Muddy Water does. Z Muddy Water never KOs. Yeah, so honestly, I would just like, I'm pretty happy with the spread at the moment. Obviously, it's not my team, so those guys probably had a better spread than I came up with, but this is just kind of like the process, which is what I was more interested in. So, just to recap, what I normally do is I pick the speed stat. That's like the first thing that I do, and then I see like what moves do I want to survive is the question that I ask for most Pokemon. But sometimes it's like, what do I need to make sure I KO? But normally I see what I can survive first, and then I go to see how much damage I'm doing to things. So. Just to recap, this is a spread that outspeeds Jolly Landorus T, which they sometimes use with Z moves, so you can confidently outspeed all non-Scarf Landorus T. You can double check that. Wait, I definitely messed up. What did I do wrong? I knew I was wrong. Okay, hang on a second. Why did I get that wrong? So we're wrong here. So that's something that we'd have to change. Sorry about that. So we need 220. Okay, so this is actually a good example. So what do you do when you don't have enough investment to, when you run out of, like, when you need more points than you have, you ask yourself what's the least important. So I think it's pretty important for Metagross to survive Gengar attacks on this team. They have answers for Gengar, to be honest. They have Drifblim and Amoonguss, but nonetheless, I still think I want to survive Gengar because that allows me to lead like Metagross and Amoonguss, for example, and I can actually attack the Gengar and Spore, which is pretty strong, especially against Honk Gengar. Or you could Iron Head like the Clefairy partner in Spore, so I still think it's worthwhile to survive Gengar. So we're going to drop from attack here. It does change the calc, so you'd have to go back and run those again, but yeah, that's basically what I do. So sorry this is a little bit unorganized. I literally just kind of walked through this one with you guys as I was doing it. Again, this is not like, there's probably like, the best spread depends on the team, but this is at least what I would do for a starting EV spread. And then in practice, if I found that I was missing out on KOs or if I was too slow, I'd adjust the spread from there. But I hope this was helpful. I hope you found this interesting. I'm going to wrap up this video, but thanks so much for watching. If you'd like this, please let me know. I'm not planning on doing more videos like this, but if there's other Pokemon who you want to see me walk through the spread for, like these videos aren't super hard for me. Obviously, I'll hopefully be a little bit more prepared next time, but yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Oh, I hope the face cam didn't mess things up. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.